Dynasauric is I'm a health, fitness, and self-care coach. My best attribute is that I'm multifaceted. That I'm optimistic and I always look at the bright side of things. I'm positive. I have a lot of energy. Yeah, it's such a loaded word, but there's like, if I can think of one thing, I always look at the bright side of things. So the thing that I wish people would stop asking me is how to take shortcuts in their health, their self-care. I don't like that question and there are definitely better ways to do things. There's efficient ways to do things. But when people say that to me, there's an energy to it. And the energy is, I'm not worthy of putting myself first. It's a self-care, lack of self-care when they say that, because they're trying to find ways to make it easier to not do things, to cut corners. And there's no shortcuts. In life, in health, there's no shortcuts. You have to just do the work. And it's difficult. And it's a muscle you have to condition daily. The thing I'm completely over and done with is politics and dinosauric thinking. 1000%. This is the old way of thinking. I'm done with it. We're ready for something new. Well, dinosauric thinking is, to me, I think of an old white man. Sorry, it sounds bad, but I think of an old white man running this country and running things, and I think of old paradigms, and I think of old ways of doing things that worked then but don't work now. That's what I think when I think of and I don't think those approaches, those tactics, those ideas, they don't work today. They worked at some point, but we're continuing them. They're sticking around for too long, and we need to just cut them out. The best thing about being female, because I'm optimistic, so I start with the positive. The best thing about being female is our intuitive powers, our emotional intelligence, hands down. We see things, we feel things, we do things in ways that don't make any sense. There's no logic, but somehow it's always right. The worst thing about being a female is our inequality. Still to this day, there's still inequality. I see it all the time. I experience it myself. And just like the dinosauric thinking, that also needs to go, because that's part of that dinosauric thinking. We need to be equal. All of us are equal, and all of us should need to be inclusive. And that's how I think the world should be right now.
Okay.
And that's it. That's me.
That's it. That's
it. That's the word of the law, okay? Person who's had the biggest impact in my life was my grandmother. My yaya, grandmother in Greek. Big fat Greek household. We grew up in a big fat Greek household. She had MS and couldn't walk for 38 years. And every day she had a smile on her face. She had good spirits. She focused on the good. She never gave up. And that really shaped me as a woman. And as I'm going to start to cry, as a woman and as a person. The biggest lesson that life has taught me is that there's a silver lining in every bad life situation, every negative situation that we encounter, every struggle, every disaster, every crisis. There's a silver lining. There's a reason for it. There's a purpose for it. I think it moves humanity forward, and it helps us grow. And that to me is worth all of the bad and negative situation. It's worth it for our growth. Okay, the best word, can I have 2 words that describe me? Okay, the 2 best words that describe me are yes and why. I say yes to I'm a yes girl. I'm a yes girl especially when it's hard. Even though I don't want to do something, I'm like, okay, I have to stay open-minded. I have to say yes. There's a reason for this. I have to, be open. And the why is I'm a very curious girl. I've always have been. I've always been the why girl. I never settle with just one answer. I'm always like, why? My mom, for as long as she can remember, every time she would say something to me or explain something to me, I would always ask why. And her answer was always, don't ask why it is what it is. And I'm like, that's not a good enough answer. I need to know why. So I'm a discoverer. I'm a researcher. I excavate. I dig. The best word that describes my view of the world right now at this time is transition. It is the death of old paradigms and the emerging of a new world. And that is, again, it's exciting to me. That's exciting to me. That's, transition is the best word I can think of. I'm the yes girl. Of course I do. I'm the yes girl. So yes, I see I'm very optimistic. I believe that there's everything is, that's happening right now is happening for a reason. And I believe that, that we're moving towards higher consciousness. And I think that's, I'm optimistic about that. And that we're kind of leaving this sort of old paradigm behind. I'm really excited about that. And I'm also, optimism in my opinion, is the unknown. We don't know what the future holds, and that's exciting to me. That's why I think I like where we are right now. When I hear the word Enfuego, I think of fire, I think of heat, I think of passion, I think of diversity, I think of change, I think of growth, I think the future, I think inclusivity. I can go on, but it's like all of those things. That's when I think of that, I just think of all of that. And I think that is a very, it's a heated word, and that's where I feel like what this company represents. It's heat, it's passion, it's hot, it's what's next. Yes. So my biggest challenge in life in general, there's many, but the one that popped into my mind when I read this question, and it's it's an answer I didn't want to give, that's why I'm giving it. And it's because my biggest challenge in life, in general, is putting myself out there publicly, vulnerably, fully, and being criticized, and being judged, and doesn't feel good. But I'm always up for the challenge. It's something that I know and I'm all about growth. So I know that is the exact reason I need to be doing things more publicly, and I need to be stepping more outside of my comfort zone and being more public and being more vulnerable like I am right now, which is why this is important. To doing things like this is important. And that's why I love your brand too, because you really honor this. You honor this, you pull this out in people. And it's every woman, every man, every human being's voice needs to be heard. And that's a challenge sometimes, because there are a lot of repercussions to that, right? We're in a world, the digital world of the internet, where you get trolls and you get bashed and you get ridiculed and criticized. And so putting yourself out there is more vulnerable. And it also means that there's room for a lot of growth. And it also means that I have to believe in myself and believe what my message is stronger than their voice, their criticism, their hate.